Hi, I'm Dr. Carlos Ulis, MD. Today I would like to talk with you about testosterone, a male hormone, and what happens with aging, and some of the do's and don'ts in terms of how to replace testosterone or not replace it. So let's first discuss testosterone and aging. Well, what happens with testosterone and aging is that it goes down. If you look at the curve of age, it goes down every decade, and pretty soon by the time you're 65, your tanks are kind of empty, whereas on the other hand, if you look at the estrogen curve, your estrogens are going up, and when these two lines cross, you have what we call testosterone-estrogen imbalance. Now, what's wrong with that? Well, testosterone-estrogen imbalance is tied into where there's some data now to support it linked to prostate cancer, that the people who have the lowest testosterone levels have more prostate cancer. They also die sooner. People have stronger hearts when they have more testosterone. So how much testosterone should you have? Well, you don't necessarily have to go, let's say we use the number 250 to 1,000 as a range, but you don't have to have 2,000. You can have 900. That's fine. But it's also what is important is the free testosterone. What is that? Here's where the tricky part is. When you have estrogen, you might have enough testosterone, but it's all bound up to estrogen. When it's bound up, the cell cannot receive it. It cannot metabolize it. It's just sitting there, floating. So to get over sex hormone, it's called sex hormone binding globulin, which is induced by age and other medical conditions and estrogen. So one of the, well, let's talk about, first of all, some of the other conditions which are related to low testosterone or the improper ratio where we don't have enough free testosterone. I want to really emphasize free. And you have your doctor measure total of free testosterone. Free testosterone is the one that makes the body work. If you don't have enough, here's how it goes. We start from the very top. Our brain is not as functional. We know testosterone gives you more spatial capacity. If you don't have enough testosterone, you can have osteoporosis. I mean, you see men 70, 75 years old breaking hips, and you find them very low testosterone. They've never been measured, never been treated. So, and then sexuality. Well, that's kind of a tricky situation because men think that the more testosterone, the more sexual they're going to be, like they're wild animals. No, it's not true at all. It's probably more muscularity, but you only need a certain amount of testosterone to have enough testosterone there to get a good erection, have good libido. You don't need to have your tanks overfilled. You need to have, like, let's say 250 to 1,000, that range we talked about, maybe 400, 350. You're fine, as long as there's enough free portion. Now, let's talk about injectable testosterone. We have, or even topical testosterone for that matter. I mean, let's say you've been measured, you're low. Well, your doctor says, well, fine, we can come in every week and get an injection, or every 2 weeks. What's wrong with that? Well, if you have any reserve capacity in the brain to signal your testes, and your testes are not, assume your testes and your Leydig cells still can produce testosterone, you're actually shutting them down more. You're going to lose any reserve that you might have. So over time, you're going to have testes that look like little raisins. Believe me, I've got patients like that who have been overusing testosterone too much. They're to the point they're infertile, and if without testosterone, they are going to feel awfully bad, depressed, tired, memory gone, whatever. What if all of a sudden we had a disaster? All pharmacies are closed. You run out of testosterone. Well, you're going to be a very unhappy camper. So enough said on that. What can we do to kind of make our own body create its own testosterone in a correct balance in a natural kind of way? I'm not talking herbal natural, but in a way to produce some signals. There's two systems. The first way to do it is to decrease estrogen. And there's very good literature on this in very good journals. If you block the conversion of testosterone to estrogen with medications like Arimidex, and there's other blockers like Femara and etc. If you block and lower estradiol, the brain senses, the hypothalamus says, whoa, we have low estradiol, we need more testosterone. It then talks to the pituitary. The pituitary goes, well, I'm going to put out some more luteinizing hormone, LH. That goes downstream to the Leydig cell in the testes, which is the machinery to make testosterone. Bingo! Testosterone takes some time. It's not like, boom, you take a shot, you feel it the next day. Over time, your testosterone levels go up. Let's say in a few weeks to a month, your testosterone levels, I've seen this, go from 300 to 900 with this kind of approach, a tripling. So this is pathway 1. Now pathway 2 would be, so we're blocking conversion. Now are there other methods to block conversion? Well, there's a lot of herbal people that claim they can do that. There's 6-oxo as a product, chrysin is a product, there's maybe other things out there in the herbal market. I've looked at the literature, I've looked at products. The only one I think can do a little bit is 6-oxo. Chrysin, I don't think, and there might even be some problems with 6-oxo on the liver. Not 6-oxo, but I'm talking about chrysin. Now, the second pathway to induce your testicles to come alive again, so to speak, is we have estrogen blockers. Now, this is all coming from the world of actually fertility and female medicine. We're using in male medicine because we have estrogen problems. So we have 2 medicines. Tamoxifen, very well known to be an estrogen blocker used in breast cancer. Actually, which I mentioned earlier, Arimidex is also widely used in breast cancer to block estrogen for women who are sensitive, breast tissue sensitive to estrogen. So we've got tamoxifen is the second path, a blocker. The other blocker is clomiphene citrate, which is actually used in women's medicine to stimulate egg production. But they both actually act in the same manner on the central nervous system to block the estrogen receptor this time. And through that mechanism, signal the pituitary, come on guys, we need more luteinizing hormone. And boom, luteinizing hormone is released, goes downstream, hits the tissue of the testicles called the Leydig cells, and more testosterone is produced. So, which one is better, clomiphene citrate or tamoxifen? I have used clomiphene citrate on my patients for many years, and I have a lot of proof it works really well in men 50 and older. And they keep using it maybe 25 to 50 milligrams every day or every other day. Now, proof of the concept is Repros Pharmaceuticals, RPRX on your, if you look at stocks, they are making a isomer, which is in other words, clomiphene citrate exists in 2 forms, an active and inactive form. The trans isomer form of clomiphene citrate is the active portion. They're going to turn that into a drug called androxyl. It is in phase 3, which means pretty close to being approved by the FDA. I suspect in a few years, men are going to be using androxyl instead of some of the drugs like injectable testosterone, androgel, testum, compounds, etc. Because it's a natural way for men to boost testosterone. How do we know it works? There's a study done by Repros Pharmaceuticals showing using this trans-isomer form of androxyl is as good as androgel, or better in elevating testosterone levels. So as long as you have the reserve down below. So don't kill the reserve of your Leydig cells by using exogenous testosterone injections, especially injections. Now, those are the 2 main methods. Now, which is better, tamoxifen or clomiphene citrate? It has been recently been looking at tamoxifen maybe have a little slight better edge, but there's another study to show that in terms of fertility, they're both equally the same. Because there's when you do release luteinizing hormone, you're also releasing FSH, follicle-stimulating hormone, which is more responsible for sperm production. But you need to produce sperm, you need FSH. You need LH for testosterone, all kind of, it's always a mix here, a symphony of hormones, never one thing at a time. So they did a study, well, both groups that got tamoxifen and clomiphene both got testosterone levels up, no question. But the sperm levels equally went up. So which is better? I will tell you at my next talk, when I see you again, which one is better and which you should think about or talk to your doctor about, or go to an educated doctor who specializes in these areas, and best of luck.